Well, while the TSA is arbitrarily searching people and abusing their authority, we're also continually having to tell you these stories about local police officers who are abusing their authority and getting away with it because people are consenting to it. Here we have an investigation out of Georgia. They've uncovered that multiple police departments have engaged in strip searches of drivers pulled over for just minor traffic violations. The cops will come up and they'll do the vehicle searches, and if they come up empty, they turn their attention on the passengers. Then they'll do the pat down, and if they don't find anything there, the cops are then ordering people to pull their pants down right on the side of the road. And then they're getting away with it because they'll just say something like, oh, well, I smell marijuana. So that gives them, justifies them searching these people. Now, people might initially consent to a pat-down thinking that they've got nothing to hide, but then the unsatisfied cops will take the search a bit further. You can't be moving people's clothing and opening them, particularly in situations where there's not been a custodial arrest. Now, this is just so disgusting. It's just another case, another story we have to tell you about cops getting away with this kind of behavior. You've got to know your rights. You do not have to consent to this. It's disgusting, and these tactics are getting out of hand, and a lot of it has to do with people not realizing that they don't have to consent to this. If you want to know more about what to do if you get pulled over in a traffic stop situation, go to our YouTube channel and look at Secrets Police Don't Want You to Know with Eddie Craig. He gets into very good detail about what to do if you are pulled over. You've got to remember, it's the police officer's job to get you to consent. It is their job to manufacture consent, and they will do that by any means necessary. So you've got to know how to invoke your right to plead the Fifth, the Fourth Amendment to unlawful searches and seizures. You've got to know your rights, and we've got to start taking these bad cops to task, those who hide behind the badge while then they go and harass other good police officers like Shane Harger, who we had on the show last night. He was threatened because he took an oath to uphold the Constitution. So it's high time that we get these bad guys out of there. Now, one of the agencies that's also hoping to hide their abuse is the DHS. Now, they're being called out because they're attempting to stifle debate on its agents using deadly force against rock throwers on the border.
When a young person throws a rock across the border towards the border or border agents, some agents respond with a gun and others don't seem to respond at all. There seems to be some need for consistency in the response to these incidents and how we treat it.
Senator, transparency and a use of force in any law enforcement agency is critical. If you don't have the trust and the cooperation of the people you serve, and they don't understand and they're not knowledgeable of your policies, it makes that trust and cooperation very difficult. I have not been in a law enforcement agency in which the specifics of the use of force were not made available to the general public. And
Exactly. The public needs to have some transparency with its federal agencies. Look at how heavily redacted that report is that was issued by the agency's Inspector General. Now, the report recommends that Customs and Border Protection train their agents to de-escalate these encounters by taking cover, moving out of range, and using less lethal weapons rather than putting themselves in a position where they have to use deadly force. Now, the report highlights how the DHS has just been attempting to mute this debate after more than 20 people have been killed since 2010 by border agents. Now, in response to this report, the chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, he rejected its recommendation, saying, just to say that you shouldn't shoot at rock throwers or vehicles in our environment is very problematic and could potentially put Border Patrol agents in danger. Oh, from these pesky rock throwers at the border. Meanwhile, if the rock throwers would just walk across the border, we'd let them right in. We'd welcome them with open arms. But since they're throwing rocks, they're a danger to America. Don't you love how we're just supporting, all in the name of national security? And meanwhile, if you want to go head over to Mexico to be an illegal immigrant, you're going to be met with harsh detentions. You'll be regarded as a felon, and at any time you could be subject to a citizen's arrest. They do not tolerate illegal immigration. And despite how harsh they are there with their undocumented immigrants, no one in Mexico is calling for reform. Nope, the fleeing population just comes to the U.S. and demands that we reform our immigration policies. Now, other countries, of course, are like Mexico as well in that they only allow people to immigrate to their country if they're going to contribute to their national progress. So I don't understand why we here in the USA, what they're saying is that, well, you know, if we let in everybody and anybody, it'll help boost our economy. That is such a farce, because if that was the case, why haven't they boosted the economy in their own country? It just doesn't make sense. And basically, if you're going to be a tax burden on society, you're going to be a tax burden on society. And it's we, the taxpayers, who are going to have to come up with the bill. It's insane. We're the only country that does this. I mean, I've looked into moving into other countries, and it's completely difficult. So this is an insane argument, which we obviously have not heard the end of.
Symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty.